Hey guys, thanks so much for coming back to my channel. I am Bella Basso, also known as Psychic Bella Love, and you can book your own personal private reading with me at psychicbellalove.com and use code BELLA20 at checkout for 20% off your first reading with me. So thank you for viewing this video, for coming back, for subscribing, for liking, for sharing if you care, all of that good stuff. You know, I'm just sort of dipping my feet back into the waters over here, I guess, and doing things a little different than I have in the past. So we are going to be taking a look at different things over here. One thing that sort of like I just wanted to do maybe like a quickie reading on or whatever is, and I know it kind of sounds like, I don't know why, like it feels so silly to me to even bring this up or whatever, but I am a huge fan of the show Power. Like a lot of people are, you know, it's just an amazing show. And when the first, you know, Power ended, they had talked about the different Power books that were going to come out. You know, Tommy was going to get his own show, and that was actually something that we sort of thought was going to take longer to get, because we thought they were going to go through, you know, the different things, especially like the season that's airing right now, and that, you know, I sort of assumed that we would get like the Tommy show in like three years or so. And then all of a sudden it was announced that it was official that he was getting his own show and that it's beginning production in January. So I just wanted to kind of take a quick look at like why, you know, why did that timeline get moved up, and how is, you know, things gonna go for that. The actor who plays Tommy is Joseph Sikora. He's actually been in, I didn't even realize, like so many of my favorite shows like Boardwalk Empire and True Detective, Prison Break. Like he's been on a lot of stuff. So this is just sort of where he's gotten like I guess like the most like notoriety or known for. So let's just take a look at, you know, why is Tommy getting the show as soon as he is? What is in store for Joseph Sikora, I guess, since he plays Tommy, and we'll just see what else Spirit has to say in regards to all of that. So Spirit, please show us anything regarding Joseph Sikora, the show regarding his character Tommy from Power. Why are they doing it now? And what is in store as far as the whole entire series goes? Thank you for joining us, Spirit. Thank you for giving us this information. None of it is done with a malicious intent, only to further understand and clarify. Thank you for blessing anybody that we talk about and all who watch this video. Thank you, Spirit, for joining us today. And you know, the funny thing is, guys, is that I actually did have a little run-in with Joseph Sikora on Instagram recently. I had this dream about him that we were like in the middle of this like trap house, and I was saying like, why are we here? And he said, Tommy isn't done yet. And then my alarm went off. It was the weirdest thing. And like I got on Instagram like an hour later, and I see that the guy who plays Sax, Shane Johnson, had reposted that, you know, it was official that Tommy was getting the show. And so I had reposted that on my stories, and I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. I just had this dream about him. And a couple weeks later, I get this like copyright notice thing, but it was a scam, you know, and it was like, oh, click on this so that way you don't lose your account. And it came from his account. I guess his account had gotten hacked, and I didn't click on anything. Like I just figured it was a scam. And he actually DM'd me and said, don't click on this. It was a scam. I just got my account back. I got hacked. And, you know, I thought that was really nice that he was looking out for anybody who did have to deal with that, because a lot of people wouldn't do that anyways, but especially not somebody who's a TV star. You know, like, why do they care about me? So I just thought that that was really nice. But from what I've seen of certain interviews and things of his, he seems like a very down-to-earth person. And he's obviously extremely talented, because that character of Tommy could have really easily have just ended up being like some stereotype or some sort of character that faded off in the background or got killed in a couple seasons. But he really took that and made it his own and really made Tommy into something that, you know, he became one of the characters that, even though he was a bad guy, so many people ended up still loving, you know. And I think that, you know, everybody on the show has really done an amazing job. It's an amazing show, amazing writing, and they've all done an amazing job in bringing those characters to life. So the first thing that I get when all of this comes up is there definitely was, you know, that delay in between. Well, the first part of the show ended. We're going, you know, trying to kind of figure out, like, where are we going next? And Spirit saying, you know, like, when the show did start, they knew that they had something, but they didn't know it was going to be this big, and they didn't know that it would turn into all of these opportunities for them to create all these other storylines and shows and extra stuff from it. And so it's almost like they had the ideas, but everything hadn't been fully fleshed out. Like, the contracts hadn't all been signed. They hadn't completely gotten all the deals for the next ones. And so when we got that announcement about Power Never Ends, you know, Power Book 1, Power Book 2, Power Book 3, and all of that they had, you know, at the end of the last season when they were sort of announcing what was going on forwards, those contracts weren't even signed. It's almost like they did that in a sort of way of manifesting it. Like, we'll put it out into the universe and then get everybody excited for it, and then Starz is gonna want to sign those contracts with us and give us those deals for that, because we got everybody so excited for it. Now, the funny thing is that because Joseph, or Tommy, you know, shows up as the King of Wands, he has a lot of work coming his way. A lot of opportunities are coming to him. Lots of people giving him offers, lots of people giving him deals, lots of movies and shows and things being presented to him. Yes, he can, you know, simultaneously film some things, but sometimes you can't. Like, if you're gonna go film this huge action movie in Croatia, you know, for 6 months, then obviously you cannot be on a TV set Monday through Friday filming a show. And so there was this sort of idea that it was like, we better nail him down before we can't. Because what if in 3 years we finally get around to, okay, we're ready to go do Tommy's show, but Joseph's all booked up and we can't get him, and then we can't make the show happen. So it was like, we have to jump on this because he's hot right now. Like, you know, we're not going to have him. We're not going to have that availability. Also, because so many people were so hyped about Tommy. So many people were so in love with that character. So many people enjoyed him that it's like, we got to capitalize right now off of that. We can't let that fire die down. We can't let there be too much time in between that, because maybe people won't care so much about Tommy. Maybe there will be another character that'll pop up. Maybe everybody's gonna be into Sax all of a sudden, or, you know, one of the other new characters on this newer season that they have going on that will take away a little bit of that. So it's like, strike while the iron is hot, and while we still have the ability to be able to book Joseph to play this role and to get this filmed. Obviously his show, what's funny is I feel like the plan right now is for 2 or 3 seasons. And it's like, we're just going to wrap it up and tell the story of what Tommy's up to right now. However, I feel like the show is going to go on much longer than what they think, because I'm getting, you know, 2 and 3 in the Wands cards as far as the timing or like how long it's going to go on. But it is gonna go on for longer than that. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being a 5-season show on its own, starring him and he sort of takes over the whole entire Power franchise. This is something that he has worked extremely hard for a very long time too, with the Knight of Coins and the Knight of Wands. It's like, I've been putting in this work, nobody's been recognizing it, I've barely been making it. Like, I'm constantly working, but I haven't gotten my big break. This is my big break finally. The world is seeing me, like, I'm coming out, world, here I am. And he does have a lot of big things coming his way. The only thing that is coming up, like, for him to be maybe a little bit, you know, worried-ish about or whatever, is that it could take an impact on his marriage. I know he's not, like, super public with his relationship anyways, because I had to look, like, I Googled him the other day to see how old he was because I was watching some interview of his with Gary Owen, and I thought that was hilarious, you know, because everybody always, you know, makes the joke about Timmy and Tommy Egan and how they're, like, kind of the same person. But when you see them together, you see that they really aren't, you know, but it is funny. But I had Googled him to see how old he was because he'd mentioned something about being a kid, like when he was first acting, and then he said something about 1992, and I was like, I know he's not that much older than me, and it was only a few years, but I saw that he was married, but you know, it's really hard to figure out, like, who's his wife. He doesn't post her on Instagram or anything like that, because I do feel I'm being very protective of that. Like, I have a public persona, but I have a personal life. He is a very down-to-earth person, is what the cards and spirit are saying. But all of this stuff that's coming up could take a toll on that marriage. Not in the sense of, like, oh, well, now he's this big star and he's just going to go start hooking up with every girl on set or anything like that. It's more so he's going to be so incredibly busy. I don't see him being able to spend a lot of time at home nurturing that relationship. And so I don't get, like, a full outright divorce, but I do get that there is going to be some challenges within his marriage to where they may even separate, but nobody's going to know about that. Like, it's never going to come to the surface because he's not that kind of a person that would even ever let that get out or mention it or make a big deal about it. But because we do have the 10 of Cups, I do feel like they are able to get it back on track. It's just more about having to, you know, manage your time and manage to find some balance between the professional and the personal with so many opportunities coming his way coming up. There's also, for him to be choosing to take on the role of Tommy all over again and to do this whole series and then it turning into and transforming into something longer, he's gonna have to turn down some other roles. Because, like we said, you can't be out of the country on a movie set when you have a series that you're, you know, kind of running and everything and being the main star of. And so there's going to be times where he has to choose playing Tommy over other roles. And it is going to make him a little frustrated, only because he's so used to, I think, with the way that his career trajectory has gone in the past of, well, I can do a whole bunch of things because I'm only in 3 episodes of this show, or I'm playing, you know, this sort of more minor character on this other show, so I can still do Tommy and then play on the Ozarks and then also do all these, like, guest appearances on these other shows and do a movie. He's not going to have the ability to do that so much because he was so used to being in such an ensemble cast that, yes, he did play a major role in the first Power, but he wasn't constantly like the main character. And so it did afford him more time to do other things that he's not going to be able to do as much of coming up. Also, I keep getting that there is going to be this sort of, like, iconic role in a movie. Not so much, like, iconic that it's going to be so big the way that, you know, Tommy has sort of come. It's more almost where a lot of people have sort of done those more kind of stepping out of what everybody knows them as. Iconic roles like Will Smith when in the, what was it, the Philadelphia Story, where he played the gay man that had AIDS, you know. Those kinds of roles where you really step out of yourself and you really show everybody, look, I can act and I can play different parts. And it's not this big, huge blockbuster movie, but it is going to be one of those movies that everybody's talking about that I do feel sort of is like maybe one of those sleeper things that all of a sudden, you know, it's getting all these Oscar nominations and they're being talked about for the Golden Globes and everything. And he plays a very different character to what he has played in the past. And that is going to really get his name out there, as in this man can play some damn roles. He can play some roles. Like, he is an actor. And so he is definitely going to blow up in that sense. That I know right now, like from, like I said, I've watched a couple of his interviews recently, and he said that he doesn't mind, you know, that people sort of put him in this box of you're Tommy, or you've played these kind of almost like sociopaths, you know, being Hans on the Boardwalk Empire, who is the abusive drunk husband, being the killer guy in True Detective. No, like, he's gonna be actually seen for more than that, even though he has sort of more so accepted that that is his thing. And it's like, well, if I did a good job and that's what you want to remember me as, fine. But like, no, like, you're actually gonna step away from that, Joe, and you are going to see a lot of recognition, and you really being acknowledged for your hard work, for your talent. Like, this is your time. Like, you joining Power unlocked that destiny step for you. You are fully stepping into your destiny path. Your karma, your good karma is coming your way, and there's a lot of celebrating and a lot of recognition that is coming for you in this sense. So just, you know, really good for you right there. I'm excited for that. Again, I do get, you know, the having to kind of pick and choose like what he is going to be a part of. But that's also a great position to be in, especially in the acting world and the entertainment industry, you know, because it's much more of, I don't have to just take this role because I have the rent due, but I can really be picky and choosy and pick the things that really call to my heart and really will put me out there in the forefront and show off a different side of me and bring me that success and that happiness. But again, like I said, I keep getting that while his professional life is taking off, there is going to be some, you know, not so great stuff happening behind the scenes in the personal, you know, with the Two of Cups and the Ten of Swords, the marriage taking a toll until you can find that balance. But they will find that balance because there's the Strength card and then the Star and Two of Pentacles. So it is trying to find the balance. It is going to be kind of a difficult thing for a while, but they definitely can make it through that. It just depends on, you know, I think that honestly, I think it comes up to the wife whether or not that relationship ends up working out. There's actually another female around him, like in the career sector. It might be like a manager or an agent. He might not have them right now. It might be somebody that he ends up working with. Because I do feel like there being a change in the people behind the scenes that he deals with. But this is somebody who is going to lead him to a bigger path to success, her showing up as the Queen of Pentacles. So he definitely, it's like Spirit keeps talking about this truly being his destiny path and this being divinely guided. And I think that, you know, like I said, we can always learn a lesson from everything. And I think that what we can take away from that is the fact that, you know, what is meant for us will be for us. Just because it didn't happen yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen later. Everything always happens in its own divine timing and is the way that the universe wants it to be for us. And just because it didn't happen when you were 21 doesn't mean that you throw it all away or give up on it. You know, it just means that that wasn't the right time for you yet. and you had a lot of growing to do, or you had other things that were more important for you to take on. And what Spirit is saying is, in regards to Joe, he had, like, they wanted him to really continue to work on his craft so that when he was presented with these opportunities, he would be so well equipped and well prepared that he could go in any direction with it and really be able to take on everything that is going to come his way. So let's look at if there's anything Spirit wants us to know in regards to the whole Power series. And you know what's funny too is I keep getting that, like, one of those Power books that they announced, I don't feel it actually being filmed. It's like, I'm trying to remember, because I know that they said it was like the beginning of, like, how did Ghost become Ghost. There's the one that's going on right now. There's Tommy, and then there was supposed to be another one, I think. And I keep getting, like, one of them doesn't end up working out as far as the way that they thought it was going to, but there is still another show that happens, but it's like connected to those same people. So it's like, if, for example, Sax was supposed to get his own show explaining why he became the way that he became, and it doesn't get filmed, then it ends up being like maybe Method Man and Mary J. Blige's characters get their own show and Shaq shows up, like, you know, some kind of weird thing like that. So it still continues, just not in the way that we originally were led to believe it would be. But it's still going to be successful. Yeah, there's Viddy said you, like, knew what you were doing, getting yourself involved with this whole series. He really, really, really did. And again, this Queen of Pentacles is coming up. I'm going to say that this is Courtney Kemp, who is the showrunner. She really, really, like, this girl, she's on her stuff. She is on her stuff. She's going to have so many more amazing series that are actually going to come out after this, that she is going to be a Shonda Rhimes, you know, where we're like, Shonda gave us Grey's Anatomy, and then she gave us Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder. Like, she just kills it, and she always comes up with all these great series. Courtney is going to be that person, because there's a lot of success around her ideas, anything that she nurtures. 50 as well, you know, because they have this star card behind them, and they both show up as the King and Queen of Pentacles. So it's like, any ideas that they have, they come to fruition, and they're successful because these two people work very well together. They know the right people to work with, and they know how to make deals happen. And so there is going to be a lot more that is going to come out from the two of them together and separately, as far as TV shows, entertainment, and keeping us entertained and feeding us with that. Like, we're going to see this go far for them. And I definitely do get that, you know, there's actually going to be an opportunity as well for there to be some sort of Power movie. And it's not going to end up being like Sex and the City, where we're all excited because we're like, our favorite show is being a movie. And then we're like, what the heck was that? Like, especially that second one, it's not going to be that way. Like, it'll actually be really good, make sense, and just help to kind of flesh out more of the whole series in a different way than we've seen. And it'll be very enjoyable and do very well. So I'm surprised, because that was actually a really good reading. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of bad coming up. Like I said, you know, Joe does have to kind of find balance within his life so that he can nurture his marriage as much as he's nurturing his career. But he can definitely do that. And I do see him being a really big star. I feel like the Tommy show is actually going to go on much longer than what anybody thinks it's going to.